We heard last month at the Aspen Security Forum, the Ukrainian president discussing the slow arrival of advanced weapons systems from the West. What does Ukraine need right now? What would make a meaningful difference?
Well, certainly the longer range missiles, such as the Attackams, the Army Tactical Missile System, that would be a very big add-on to the Ukrainian capabilities, and I think it would give them a longer range and would allow them to hit Russian targets a bit further back from the front lines than they're currently able to do. Now, if we had planned this correctly, at about this time we could potentially have had F-16s flying with Ukrainian pilots. That, of course, is something that is not happening at the moment. It will happen in the future, but it won't be ready for this particular phase of the offensive operations that the Ukrainians are conducting right now. But this is the kind of thing that they would need. Plus, the other thing I would say, Linda, is that we need some more unconventional weapons for the Ukrainians. Some of them they are producing themselves, such as the seaborne drones that they have been able to manufacture and use to great effect in the Black Sea, but also some of the other rockets and missiles that they've been able to develop. So part of that is something that the Ukrainians can develop. Other things, of course, are from the West. And the last thing I would say is that a continued supply of munitions, especially artillery shells of the 155 millimeter variety, those are going to be critically important for the Ukrainians, and they must be part of any plan to help them during this period.
And Colonel, speaking of drones, the Ukrainians are bringing the war to Russia's doorstep, essentially using drones. We've seen the damage in buildings in Moscow, the attacks on Russian warships and other vessels in a major Russian port. What does that mean for this conflict? And psychologically, what impact could it have on Russians?
Well, I think the drone has been kind of the asymmetric force multiplier of this war, and in particular the Ukrainian use of these drones. So from a military standpoint, the drones have been incredibly useful. They aren't going to knock Russia out of the war, but on a psychological aspect, they are definitely having an impact on the local population, especially in Moscow and other areas where they've actually seen these drones in action. So it has a significant psychological impact on the Russian civilian population. Plus, it also shows that the Ukrainians can use unconventional type weapons such as drones in order to achieve some of their goals. So in essence, what they're able to do is they're helping to create a bit of a stalemate between the Ukrainian and the Russian forces. But for Ukraine, the very fact that they are in existence, that allows the Ukrainians to maintain their independence and allows them to at least continue in the current state of affairs for a bit longer. And that's something that would not have been predicted by many people at the beginning of this war.